Well, it may be only 2 miles down the road, but this £23 million purpose-built Parky Scarlets seems light years removed from the old Stratty Park that was for almost 130 years and over 2,500 matches home to both Cloneffley and then the Scarlets. 2 weeks ago in the first ever match at the new stadium, Cloneffley beat Cardiff in the Welsh Premiership. Tonight the Scarlets welcome the current Magners League leaders Munster. Well, Stratty Park was very much part of the Cloneffley DNA thanks to famous wins over the likes of the Turin Wallabies and All Blacks down the years. And like old shoes, the new ground may take some breaking in. There's the Scarlets team, and injuries and international duty means it's a relatively young and inexperienced Scarlets side hoping to hit the new ground running. 7 of the starting 15 are under the age of 25 tonight, and there's Magners League debuts for Dominic Day in the second row and Matthew Jacobs on the wing. Simon Easterby will captain the side from the unfamiliar position of number 7 tonight, and Morgan Stoddart has been released by Wales coach Warren Gatlin to take his place at fullback. Fly half Rhys Priestland incidentally scored the first ever points here a couple of weeks ago. That was a penalty for Cloneffley, and the number 11 John Davies followed with the first ever try. The Munster team, well, Tony McGann has included many of his Irish internationals in his starting 15, including Ronan O'Gara, Tomás O'Leary, Marcus Horan and Donncha O'Callaghan, who all started last weekend's win against Argentina at Croke Park. An injury to Rua Tupoki will see Keith Earl start a Magners League match for the first time this season at number 13, with Paul Warwick moved back to full back. Dennis Leamy is fit to start at number 8 after lasting only 20 minutes or so against the All Blacks at Thomond Park. Niall Ronan starts at number 7, and fresh from his international debut against the Pumas, Donncha Ryan is used in his familiar Munster role of number 6. Quick check on the replacements benches, and in Kieran Thomas, Deacon Manu and Phil John, there's a wealth of experience on the Scarlets bench, and the same can be said of Munster with the likes of Pucciarello, Stringer and Horgan. Well, alongside me in the commentary box tonight, former Munsterman Killian Keane. And Killian, we saw Munster open Thomond Park a few weeks ago in the Magners League against Glasgow. I expect Scarlets will be really up for the match tonight.
Sure, it's obviously difficult when you have a new stadium. The pressure is on the home team to perform, but obviously Scarlets are a little bit under strength tonight. But you saw a couple of weeks ago with Munster and the All Blacks, when you do have an understrength side and a new stadium, sometimes you can get a funny reaction. So I think that's what Scarlets will be looking for tonight, that those young players, that the new stadium will inspire them.
Well, there is Keith Earl. It's a big night ahead for him. He's done his reputation no harm whatsoever over the autumn series with Ireland. A try after only 2.5 minutes at Thomond Park, his own home against Canada in the first match. And Dennis Leamy, good to see him back in the fold, and the shoulder, let's hope it holds up. Tony McGann will be hoping so. Taken off, we understand, as a precaution against the All Blacks in that game after getting a bang early on. Nick Williams, incidentally, has arrived from Auckland, and they're targeting the match against Connacht on December the 28th to see him in a Munster jersey for the first time. Well, a man who's filled that Scarlets jersey so many times. He captained the side in the last match at Stratty Park, and he will do so once again now at Parky Scarlets. Simon Easterby. A reduced capacity tonight for health and safety reasons means that there'll only be 9,000 inside what is a capacity of 15,000 new stadium. Teams are required to play 3 matches before they can fill their stadium to capacity, so it won't be filled again next week either for the match against Ulster in the European Cup, but it will be certainly for the official opening of this new stadium in January against the Barbarians. Big night for 23-year-old Dominic Day. He's a Welsh under-21, starting the Magners League match for the first time in there alongside the experience of Vernon Cooper. That's our match referee. It was supposed to be Peter Allen from Scotland, but as you heard from the guys in studio, an accident on the motorway in and around Cloneffley means that Peter Allen is stuck in traffic, and into the breach steps James Jones. And it's going to be the home side to get us underway. Rhys Priestland deputising for Stephen Jones, who's on international duty. Marcus Horan takes the kick-off. As you can see, lots of empty seats over on that far side. Lots of people still making their way through the turnstiles. But we do expect a crackling atmosphere. O'Gara looks to move it. Early involvement for Matthew Jacob up to the 10-metre line. In for the injured Darren Daniel tonight. Crossfield kick is easily read by Howlett. Little kick ahead, not the second time. He's claiming a Munster ball. Touch judge isn't too sure. He went first one way and then the next, and it's going to be a Munster ball, says James Jones, the referee.
I think Nigel Davis would be expecting a higher standard of kicking from Reece Priestland. You certainly don't want him to put it up like that in front of Doug Howlett. It's an invitation for trouble.
And there you saw the crowd still streaming in away to our left, which is the new West stand. Frankie Sheehan, it's a wayward delivery from touch. Salilo Martins, the Tongan scrum half, quick to points. Away they come with the 42 times cap New Zealander Keys Mews. Munster have turned it over, and the advantage as well. O'Gara from the outside of the right boot. Kick and chases for Ian Dowling, and it's gone forward. Matthew Jacob under pressure. Dowling has it. It's advantage Munster. Good kick through from Ronan O'Gara.
It's interesting that Munster lost their first line-out again. It's been a feature of their play this year. Normally in recent seasons, the line-out has always been a real strong point for Munster, but it's been an area of concern. They'll be disappointed that they lost the first line-out. It's also interesting to see Ronan O'Gara put Matthew Jacob under pressure. You can see that he obviously feels he's a new player and a young player, and he's going to test him by putting the ball in behind him.
So a really good early position this for Munster. Scarlets try and get the wheel on, and it goes from Tomas O'Leary. And O'Leary again. Inside pass for Maffey, looking to use his strength to break the first line of defence. Munster could use quick ball, and it's got to be a penalty. Vernon Cooper, I think it was, coming through. O'Gara chips through, the cover is there. No advantage coming, so it'll come back for the infringement, which was blatant in the extreme, I think, from Cooper.
I think beforehand, Neil and Kieran obviously discussed the scrum half situation with Ireland and with Munster. Obviously, Munster have two very, very good scrum halves that are different, and I think that scrum there, that play, showed the strength of Tomas O'Leary. He is quick away from the base, he is strong, and that allowed him to get into the midfield to set up the position, which you would expect Ronan O'Gara to now convert.
And Ronan O'Gara does indeed convert, and the first points in the Magners League at the new Parky Scarlets belong to that man, Ronan O'Gara. Good. Takes his tally to the season in the Magners League to 39 with his 7th penalty goal, and it was all too easy. And if you give away needless penalties like that, Ronan O'Gara and Paul Warwick will punish you all night long, and it could be a long evening for the Scarlets, unless in the red zone, as it were, they get their discipline correct. O'Leary into Mick O'Driscoll. Good solid tackle, forced O'Driscoll backwards. O'Leary able to spread it wide, and Munster look to go through the hands. Dennis Leamy to Doug Howlett. This way and that, and confusing John Davies, kicking ahead. Good kick as well from Howlett.
Before the kick, lads.
Again, you can see the width that Munster are now bringing to the game. The original pass from Tomas O'Leary to Mick O'Driscoll was a good deal wider than you might have expected from a normal forward hit-up play. And again, they looked to, even though Mick O'Driscoll got hit backwards, he looked to offload the ball again to O'Leary, who continued to move it out wide to Howlett. So there is a definite difference in the way Munster are playing this year compared to previous years.
So Ken Owens, the young hooker, does well to find Simon Easterby. It'll be interesting to see how he performs tonight at open side. Niall Ronan's been in very good form for Munster, showed that against the All Blacks, as did Donncha Ryan. It's a very strong Munster back row, Ryan, Leamy and Ronan. And here's what we're seeing more and more. Teams off their feet at the breakdown, and James Jones quite correct to penalise Keys Muse it was.
Players are still struggling with that rule, but I think that what the way referees are making the decision is if the player's first movement is down straight onto the ground, that's when they penalise them. If they go and play a ruck and end up on the ground, you can see it here. So see that first motion is sort of down. He didn't actually play a Munster player out of the ruck, but it is difficult, and players are still confused by the rule.
Keep the space.
So the first line-out was wayward, and Mick O'Driscoll had to really grapple to gain possession, but he did. From O'Leary to O'Gara, now a first chance for Keith Earls, who's well marshalled, but it's good field position for Munster. Taken on by Niall Ronan. Tony Buckley over it. O'Leary has a little go on the fringes himself. Donegal O'Callaghan bridges. Same offence this time. Munster guilty from a good position of conceding a penalty, which is going to cost them ground.
Again, the original line-out was not what you would call clean possession, and really the Munster stuttered from there, and they set up a couple of slow phases which eventually led to them giving away a penalty. And you can see again Donegal O'Callaghan, his knee hits the ground there, so again the referee would use that as his decision making.
Good kick brings the Scarlets up within reach of the Munster 22. Well, it's one of those things, that rule as well. If the player that you're bridging over gives way, or the situation changes at ruck time, you could have very easily been on your feet, and all of a sudden it all caves in below you and you're judged to be on the floor. Neither side really getting their lineouts together in the opening 10 minutes. That was a loose one from the Scarlets.
Outside that way.
Good take from Salilo Martins, and then the presentation's a little bit rushed, albeit under pressure. Now the Scarlets have a chance to build something from inside their own half. Munster back row is up quickly, as was Buckley. Easterby, it's a decent layoff as well. Gavin Evans, the inside centre. Salilo Martins now. Advantage being played to Scarlets. Munster offside on halfway.
Number 8.
Dennis Leamy, the player to infringe. I wonder, is this within Reece Priestland territory? It's a long way out. He's going to go for touch. So the second real attacking opportunity now for the Scarlets. The first was allowed slip away due to a poor delivery from the line-out. Matthew Rees, their number one choice hooker, I suppose, is on international duty, so it's an opportunity for Ken Owens, 21-year-old. That's better ball for Salilo Martins. Munster managed to slow it down a little bit, and almost a hole in midfield. That's gone forward. Marginal, but it did seem to go forward.
There was some space there off the original line-out. Priestland actually got inside Niall Ronan, who had sort of gone a little bit further, and even off the second ruck with a wider pass, there was some space there as well, which is it's unusual to see gaps that early in a play.
Stay on my left then. Keep it straight. Coach. Touch. Pause. Engage. Ball is out.
That's a good scrum from Scarlets, and it's resulted in turnover possession. That's a big psychological blow for them. The last scrum was good as well. Regan King did well to knock that backwards. Through comes Donald Callahan. That's okay. And now it's the dancing feet of Keith Earls. That's lost as well. Well, it's a slippery ball tonight in the first 10 minutes.
Get off red there, okay? Scrummage, red ball. Time off, lads. Thank you.
Earls always looking for that half yard of space, but he was bottled up and the advantage gone.
I think they know about him at this stage. The element of surprise is gone. He's going to have to get used to that. He's going to be well marked the rest of his career, really.
Interesting to see as well how he fares at number 13 tonight. Most people would argue it's possibly his best position. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, he has played a lot of his rugby at 13, and obviously has played on the wing, and only really this season that Tony McGann decided to play him at full-back, where he was an absolute revelation. But he would be pretty comfortable playing in the centre. He's played under 19, under 20 for Ireland in that position, so it wouldn't faze him.
So in it goes now from Salilo Martins. Out into midfield, and the tackle's coming in, and it's there for the scrum half. Flat pass, and Dennis Leamy and Donico Callahan. Decent shove though by Scarlets, and it's a good position. Priestland. David Lyons using all his strength and his experience. The former Wallaby making a good 5 or 10 metres. Good continuity from the home team, and hands there at ruck time as well. It's a penalty advantage as Lyons takes it on again. Referee's whistle sounds, no advantage coming. Now, well, this is very kickable indeed, should Priestland decide to go at posts.
It's amazing, once the team gets over the gain line, you can see it there with David Lyons, the number of penalties that follow from teams not getting back on side or giving away a discretion at the ruck. It really is the key to the game, and clearly Llanelli are going to use David Lyons in that capacity to get over the gain line. He's a very, very strong runner, and he pushed through a number of tackles there.
44 caps for Australia down the years, David Lyons. 2 World Cups to his credit.
Off, lads, please. Lads.
And 8 seasons at the Waratahs. Now then, a chance for Rhys Priestland to level up the match. It's his first Magners League start since Edinburgh last May. That was the last match of last season. Needs to come from right to left, and it doesn't. So Rhys Priestland yet to get his radar correctly set at the new Parky Scarlets, and it remains Munster with that slender advantage thanks to a penalty in the 3rd minute from that man Ronan O'Gara.
I think Llanelli will be encouraged by the last couple of moments of play. They've spent some time in Munster's territory, which is what they'll want to settle them down.
Now Morgan Stoddart, important player for the Scarlets. Niall Ronan with another well-timed tackle, and now they look to spring it wide. The little loop back inside. Munster have plenty of men back, and Scarlets need and get quick ball. That's better now, and suddenly a hole appears. Easterby, can he find the offload? He can, but in came the tackle. Good tackle it was indeed by Tony Buckley. Now this is going to be a feature of the match. James Jones bringing it to an end. The Scarlets in very good field position on their own ball, and they offend.
And I'll allow you to clean him out. Don't come in the side.
You can see that you can understand the frustration of the Llanelli players there. You know that they did really, really well. Played a nice switch play with Simon Easterby, got over the gain line, passed it on to Ken Owens, who did incredibly well to hold on to the ball, and they really were in a great position then, where they would have expected to, score at the very least, get a penalty, and instead they give away a penalty. And obviously somebody has said something to the referee, and they've conceded 10 metres, but I can understand their frustration. see the defence there. Munster just holding off a little bit. Ian Dowling, as he does it very well. He shoots up ahead. But you would be a little bit concerned about Munster just standing off Llanelli and allowing them into the game.
Now Frankie Sheehan, let's see if he can get his delivery correct. Again he goes for Mick O'Driscoll, and again it's sloppy, and again it's gone forward. So that's 3 in a row now from Munster. It has been a feature of their play in the Magners League. In the early games, certainly the line-out was disarray. We saw it at Musgrave Park in the match against the Dragons, which they won comfortably, and then again it was less comfortable in the match against Cardiff, but the line-out wasn't functioning well at all. Well, he's fast becoming something of a Mr. Dependable under the high ball. Paul Warwick. Hoylett to Maffey, cutting back inside. Going inside, Gavin Evans. There it is for O'Leary. O'Gara. O'Callaghan's tackled on his own 10-metre line. Four players to his right. O'Gara elects to use the boot, and well, you heard the cry of leave it, and Morgan Stoddard might have been better advised to do so, but he tried to play it, and it's Munster ball. O'Gara again, a little bit deeper this time. Warwick brings in Darling and releases Donnacha Ryan. He's got good pace. Darling now picks it up, runs into Regan King, and Munster have it again. Mixing it up nicely, bringing Paul Warwick into the play, and Leamy, now O'Gara. Good position for Munster. Maffey into Hoylett. Good tackle by Dominic Day, the youngster. Now Dennis Leamy. They go on the short side again. Tony Buckley, all 21 stone, crashes into the 22. Mick O'Driscoll, captain for the night against the All Blacks, and a big performance for him that night as well. O'Leary again. Same route. Tony Buckley used as the principal ball carrier. This time they ignore O'Driscoll and go to O'Gara, and then Leamy did that go forwards. Referee belatedly blows his whistle, and Donnacha O'Callaghan is called back.
I'm not sure if he did, but I think the crowd actually shouted for it. But I think the last couple of moments just have demonstrated how the development of this Munster team over the last 18 months. Every single player looks comfortable on the ball. The forwards' appreciation of the lines of running that they're taking, where they play decoy lines. Everybody looks comfortable. You had a stage where the ball came out from right to left, and you ended up with a number 7 Niall Ronan and number 6 Donnacha Ryan looking very, very comfortable in the outside channel. You know, that just didn't happen when we were playing.
Dennis Leamy, adjudged to have knocked it forward. One of a few of the Munster players to sign a new contract during the week, taking him through the next World Cup with Munster and Ireland. Turned 27 yesterday, actually, Dennis Leamy. Good to see him back in the Munster jersey.
It seems like he's been around forever. I can't believe he's only 27.
So in it goes from Martins. Two front rows going down.
I'll take the slip. Your legs shouldn't be facing each other.
Pitch, as you might expect, is absolutely perfect tonight.
All right. Crouch.
I understand, incidentally, it's the first rugby pitch in the UK to use fibre elastic reinforcing technology combined with the natural grass. Not quite sure what that means. I'm told there's elements of a plastic pitch about it, but well, it's the future under soil heating and expert drainage and all that you'd expect. Good chase from Hoylett from his own kick, and a good take from Martins.
Yeah, you can see it was a penalty. Doug Howlett just ended up on the wrong side of the ruck, having made an initial good tackle. He just ended up on the wrong side, and it was a clear-cut penalty.
Good kick from Rhys Priestland.
You can just see it here now. He makes a tackle, and then he's just, the ref will want him to roll away out of that position there, and he didn't do it quickly enough.
Doesn't look best pleased by the decision, but correct it was. Chance for Owens to find his targets. One of quite a few Wales under 19 Grand Slam winners in this side. Good ball off the top to Martins in the midfield to John Davies. And it's quicker ball recycled this time, and on from comes Nathan Thomas. Salilo Martins again. Munster defensive line seems well set, and now they come from a little bit deeper with a bit more pace. Again, there's a Munster player on the wrong side, but Donegal Ryan gets to his feet, and it's okay. Martins. Maffey tried to turn him, and well, it may well be Lafemi Maffey in the sin bin for 10 minutes.
Hey, quiet. That's the second time he's chosen to fall there. He has a choice to move as well. He didn't take it, okay? That's one up there, and that's one in the red zone. It's not acceptable.
Well, the second one in the referee's eyes was in the red zone. You heard Ronan O'Gara say it's his first one. The referee disagreed, said it was his second, and on the basis of the ref's evaluation, if he thinks it's deliberately on the wrong side twice, and well,
we'll see it here again. If you watch the way he tackles, that's, till there he's fine. So he's tackling and he's actually turned the Llanelli player. Now he must roll away. It is quite difficult for him to roll away. It's a very difficult decision for the ref to make. I do sympathise with Maffey. Here's the earlier one. I mean, that's a more clear-cut one. That is definitely a penalty. I think Maffey's one is less clear-cut, and I think the ref made that decision by virtue of the fact that Howlett had just committed a penalty previous to that, and also the position where we are on the field. But I do have some sympathy for Maffey, because if you watch the way he tackles, he deliberately tries to turn players towards his side, which is in fact good play. It's really the referee's interpretation of what happens after that tackle. It's a tough one.
Well, Rhys Priestland punishes Munster and Lafemi Maffey for the indiscretion, and just beyond the midway point of the first half, it's Scarlets back level at 3 points apiece.
Been pretty impressed with the Scarlets line-out so far. Ken Owens is having a good game, both in open play, but particularly at the line-out. Their line-out has functioned very well.
Yeah, he's a very talented young hooker coming through for Wales and for the Scarlets. Suffered a really bad knee injury in October of last year, kept him out of action until the middle of February. Back to full fitness now.
Middle. White.
Here he is again with ball in hand.
Hold on a second. We've got
looking to go to the front, and that's a good opportunity for us to tell you of some live Premier League action coming your way on Setanta. Tomorrow on Setanta Ireland, we're at the Stadium of Light. Bolton, the visitors, to Sunderland from 2:25. And then the Monday night match on Setanta Sports 1 from 7 o'clock. We'll see Gianfranco Zola's Hammers travel to play Liverpool. So with a man advantage and back on level terms, the Scarlets in their own half, with Salilo Martins sending it up high. Ian Darling had plenty of time, and he breaks the first tackle. And then manages to get back to his feet and make another few yards. O'Leary just wanted a couple of seconds too much on the ball, but he does get it out to Ronan O'Gara, who sends one of those trademark low trajectory kicks across field. Stoddard hammers it back down. Little chip ahead was ambitious, and Rhys Priestland gathers. Well, Troyd thought that ball should have stayed in hand. O'Gara's kick and chase, and this time it's going to be advantage Munster. And that's what we're seeing so much under the ELVs. It's a little bit of aerial ping pong, and one side inevitably almost is going to make a mistake. This time it was Salilo Martins, the scrum half.
Well, the game has got a tiny bit scrappy in the last 4 or 5 minutes. Obviously, Munster are now down like Femi Maffey, and they've got to rejig it. Now, having said that, Niall Ronan is a pretty good replacement to have in the centre. Certainly in defence, he's played actually a couple of times for Munster in the centre. But what tends to happen when the game gets scrappy is that you do get this game of aerial ping pong for a few minutes. So hopefully it won't last.
Crooked feed from Tomas O'Leary. Free kick to the Scarlets.
I think that was something that was highlighted in some of the international matches last weekend. We saw some incredibly crooked feeds, so obviously refs have been told to crack down, which I think makes sense.
And that's a nasty looking one for Simon Easterby.
I think Simon has had his fair share of cuts and bruises over the years. It's another one to add to the collection.
Well, we normally see him with a scrum cap on, but not tonight at number 7. He'll have to go and get stitched up and patched up. Scarlets will want him back in the action as soon as possible. Jonathan Edwards comes in. 24-year-old back row player.
You skip back, yeah. Just a second, I'll call time on first, okay?
Priestland then. Warwick looks very comfortable and pings one across field. Stoddard won't get the opportunity to take the quick one. Not the second time either. Doug Howlett too close in attendance.
He said I'd give you both one warning each.
Yeah, Warwick looks very comfortable wherever he plays for Munster. He's probably been their player of the year so far, you'd have to say.
Well, it just gives him that extra dimension. Confirmation of the temporary replacement as it is at the moment. Good take from Dominic Day.
Mount over.
Just outside his 22, but he may have carried it back in. It doesn't matter because Munster have it. Didn't go for touch. Now Warwick. Again, it's down the middle. This time it's a better kick and field position for the Scarlets.
It's a good return. Again, I think what Munster will try and do is just, unfortunately they'll probably try and play this 10 minutes out, not take on, too much risk, try not to turn the ball over in their own territory. But, again, it goes back to the sin bin. It does have an effect on the game.
Let's go.
Croy trying to get behind their team. There's Gavin Evans. Again, Mick O'Driscoll just about winning the line out. Was that on touch? Yes, it was indeed.
The kick was outside as he didn't touch catching the ball inside the
So back we go, yeah.
He had 1 foot outside the field to play when he caught the ball. It's the referee in the touch.
There you hear from James Jones. John Davies putting his foot deliberately in touch.
He had 1 foot.
Let's see now.
Ooh.
Not sure if he's in touch at all.
It was tight. If he's touching the white at all, he's in touch, but it was marginal.
They're the ones you get at home.
Exactly. Especially at your new home.
No, you're over 15.
Again, it's a good take from Dominic Day. 6'6". He's a big target. Donnacha O'Callaghan perfectly legally coming through, and now he's on the wrong side, and he's getting a bit of a shoeing. Have Munster turned it over? Yes, they have. Legally so. O'Gara clearing down to halfway. John Davies, who's normally a centre, is quite comfortable on the wing though. Scored a try earlier this season against Connacht. And got that first try a couple of weeks ago for Clefley against Cardiff here. First ever try at the new stadium. Dominic Day again. Morgan Stoddard lined up really well by Keith Earls and unceremoniously dumped. Justin Thomas, and this time it's gone forward. Munster ball.
Yeah, it was a very strong tackle by Keith Earls there. And that continued pressure after that led to the mistake by Clonetty, and the player in front of the player who knocked the ball on actually conceded the penalty.
I know there wasn't at me watching
it was
on camera. Okay.
A very strong tackle.
No worries, thank you.
One his father will be proud of.
Yeah, I'm not going to stop the game. You have to go to the touchline, okay? I won't stop you having treatment.
Good kick from Ronan O'Gara, who was politely advised by the referee to mind his language just before. There's the knock on again.
He wouldn't use bad language, would he?
Captain for the night. It's his job to instruct his players, and he's been assured in everything he's done so far. Now, what can Munster manufacture? They look to the boot of Ronan O'Gara, who sends a massive kick. And in the end, it's a little bit too high and too long.
Yeah, it still stems back to the problems that Munster have had with their line out. What they, that previous line out, they threw it to 2 just to make sure that they could win the ball. But that leads to problems because the entire Clonetty back row are in play to defend.
Again, O'Gara electing to use the boot. It's been option number 1 most of the time for Munster, and as yet it's not really paying off for them. It's been a scrappy performance by both teams, but I venture at this stage that Nigel Davies will be the happier of the two.
That's clever play by Priestland there. He was well aware of what he was doing. I think Munster just need to, obviously get Matthew back in the field, get back to the full complement, and then just, start to play the way they played for the first 10-15 minutes.
Steady.
That will eventually put pressure on Clonetty.
Crouch, touch, pause, engage.
Matthew gets ready for his reintroduction.
No.
Well, you've got to be consistent.
There's no hook, straight in the legs.
That's one apiece, and away comes Mick O'Driscoll, looking to get a bit of front football for Munster, and they might just prize an opening. Ian Darling puts on the speed, and he goes inside 2 tackles rather cheaply. Dear oh dear, from the Scarlets' point of view, the defence was pretty poor, but Ian Darling doesn't mind. He's in for his first Magners League try of the season, and it came from the quick thinking of Mick O'Driscoll from the crooked feed and the free kick. Quick pass out, and Darling, well, he had a bit of work to do. There's the quick thinking from O'Driscoll. Good pass as well. Niall Ronan's awareness spots Darling. He puts the afterburners on. He goes inside the winger and the fullback, and Martins can't get to him either.
The key to that was the original pass from Mick O'Driscoll. He actually put Ronan away on the outside, and Ronan, obviously, you could see he has played in the centre. He's a really, really quality player with ball in hand. He put Ian Dowling away, who again didn't panic, managed to get inside his man, and Munster just slip over for a reasonably simple score. But it just goes back to what I said. If Munster just take the game to Clonetty, you feel that they have the better team. They will get scores.
Difficult kick for O'Gara, and it just leaks out to the right and wide, and it remains Munster 8, Scarlets 3, but Munster taking the initiative now to the Scarlets, and there's the pass to Niall Ronan, taking out the cover.
Yeah, I think the host commentator there are suggesting that the Clonetty player came up out of the line, and in fairness, Mick O'Driscoll read it very, very well. Managed to put a beautiful weight on the pass to send Ronan on the outside. But from there, you can see that Ian Dowling had a lot to do. He had 3 players effectively running him down, but he kept his nerve, managed to step inside and took it very well.
Well, to be fair to the Scarlets cover, Dowling was beyond his winger, and it was really up to Morgan Stoddart, and then one-on-one it's anybody's game. Perhaps I was a little bit unfair on the Scarlets cover, but it wasn't the best of tackles for Morgan Stoddart. Rather pawed at the winger. 7.5 minutes to half time, and it's Munster in the box seat. Ball not coming back, so we'll have a put in for the Scarlets.
Both sides of it, the deck. 2 sets of hands coming out. Okay,
see Matthew back on the field. Munster did well to last the 10 minutes without conceding, and in fact managed to score themselves, which is unusual. Normally you would expect the team with 15 players to at least get a penalty or maybe even a try.
Crouch, touch, pause, engage.
Ian Darling tends to do well against the Scarlets. He scored a couple of tries, I remember, at Stradey Park back in May.
Same scrum, front row's pop.
It was a very tight match, which Munster eventually won by 24 points to 23.
If you're not comfortable, show me the ball, okay? If you're not comfortable, show me the ball.
I can't remember when Ian Darling last made a mistake. He really is.
Crouch.
I think he's a very, very underrated player.
Vastly improved player in many people's eyes. His defence is rock solid. He's good under the high ball, and we just saw what he can do in attack as well. Here's Morgan Stoddard looking to make amends for the fact of he was the player to miss the tackle. Vernon Cooper. Day leaves it. Salilo Martins on the short side, looks for Priestland, tries to go outside. Keith Earls, who made the tackle, and then Maffey back into the action. Nathan Thomas hit well and hit hard by Mick O'Driscoll. Munster need to leave it alone on the floor, and they do. Regan King coming in field a little bit. That's gone backwards, and now it's kicked ahead. Well, referee disagrees, penalising the Munster player.
Blood returning, sorry, or?
It's all a little bit lateral.
Okay.
From Clancy there. It was quite easy for Munster to defend. Haven't seen too much of Regan King actually so far in this game. He doesn't appear to be having his best season.
No, that's what I was just going to say. I haven't seen too much of him in this game, and really haven't seen the best of him this season.
I think we might see how Simon Easterby got injured.
So Jonathan Edwards retakes his place on the bench. A little bit loose from the home team. Possession secure though on the 10-metre line. Martins. Good tackling from Munster. And they get the reward as well. Mick O'Driscoll's been lively now. Donegal Callahan just managed to get his hands free. Tomas O'Leary spotting a big gap, and here comes Darling again, and he might just be in for a second try. This time the cover comes across, and this time Morgan Stoddard does just enough.
Yeah, it was good. Very good vision by Tomas O'Leary there. He spotted that there was effectively nobody in the back quarter. You can see the kick there. There's absolutely nobody at home.
Good chase from Darling, but good cover. Munster just beginning to prise open the gaps now, using their kicking game to good effect. This time it was O'Leary. It was good from O'Callaghan and from Mick O'Driscoll.
I think there's a suggestion that he may have been a half a yard offside.
Simon, he must stay bound. That's all the law says.
Stoddard
If he breaks his bind, I'll keep an eye on him.
It's a great attacking position for Munster now, just before half time.
Just keep an eye on Elvin. I got a little bit of and stay in this side of the scrummage until it settles. Just make sure the flankers are not.
Looks like Morgan Stoddard's going to be okay. He'll try and run that one off between now and half time.
You can see Anthony Foley out there giving some words of wisdom.
Time on, lads.
Sure he'd like to be out there still.
He's probably not a good spectator. So, clear instructions from the wise old head of Anthony Foley. Let's see what Munster can do from what's been a less than perfect line out so far. And yes, it is again. And you saw Dennis Leamy almost shouting back at Frankie Sheehan. It's not going well. The advantage from a very good position. Donegal Ryan's not pleased either.
3 minutes.
I don't understand it. You've got three very good line-out jumpers in Mick O'Driscoll, Donegal O'Callaghan at 2, and Donegal Ryan, in addition to Dennis Leamy and Niall Ronan. So it may be a case that Munster actually maybe have too many options.
Well, Munster get the shove on, and Leamy could be in here. He turns one way, then the other. That's a certain try. Took the referee a second or two, which he's entitled to come round to the right side, but from a big shove from the scrummage, they got their line out all wrong, but they got their scrum all right. And Dennis Leamy is back scoring tries for Munster. It's his first of the season in the Magners League.
They'll be very happy with that, the front row boys. They'll be reminding everybody where the impetus came from. But Leamy did very well there. He kept his cool, picked it up well, and just managed to get over. But again, it's very frustrating for Clonethley Scarlets. They would feel they did all the hard work, managed to frustrate Munster at the line out in terms of the defence that they would have put in place, and then just to lose their own scrum ball and concede a try is very disappointing.
The recriminations begin as Ronan O'Gara gets set to try and add 2 points and really put a little bit of daylight between the teams.
Sorry, I missed that.
Missed his last conversion attempt. This one's a little bit easier for a right-footed kicker. Strikes it much better, and it's through the uprights, and Munster advance on to 15 points to the Scarlets 3, and Dennis Leamy's try has put Munster very much in the ascendancy with a couple of minutes to go to half-time.
Again, we can see that there's actually nobody there from a Scarlets point of view. You can see the wingers just coming up now, but it's really too late. They haven't taken precautions. I suppose you don't expect to lose a scrum against the head in that position.
Well, you don't anticipate. No, you're quite right to lose your scrum a few metres from your own line, but you should expect a big shove from Munster, and we know what their pack can do. Leamy showing good composure. There was David Lyons getting back and trying to put an arm under it. Leamy just took his time and made sure he grounded it correctly. Injury for Keys Muse, and he'll be a big loss to the Scarlets. We got a shot there of the Munster travelling support. They go absolutely everywhere. Their first visit now to Parky Scarlets. They'll be back many times in big numbers, and they'll be reasonably happy with what they've seen so far. Morgan Stoddart looking to hit back for the Scarlets. Deacon Manu coming in for Keys Muse. New Zealander for New Zealander in the front row for the Scarlets. This is what Munster do so well.
On your feet, no white.
Having got the advantage with that converted try, securing possession. Now looking for field position. O'Driscoll with a tackle, and O'Callaghan looking to wrestle it from Munster. Martins has it. Priestland to the newly introduced Deacon Manu. Now Priestland looks to go past Donnchadh Ryan, and it turns out not to be the best decision. Advantage is over.
Thank you, Todd.
Stoddard goes long, and Ronan O'Gara has it. He sends it skyward. Good kick as well, and it forces the error from Gavin Evans.
Don't do that again, alright? That's lost forward, and that's the half.
Referee says, I've seen enough, and Munster will be very happy with their opening 40 minutes endeavour at the new Parky Scarlets. Try on 31 minutes from Ian Darling, added to by one from Dennis Leamy, and it's Munster in the box seat at half time. It's Scarlets 3, Munster 15.
Yes, Conor, few enough opportunities in the opening half hour. Ian Dowling grabbed the first of them, and then Dennis Leamy, assist from Frankie Sheehan. Analysis next.
Well, Munster's last Magners League fixture was now over a month ago up at Ravenhill in Belfast. They lost that one 22-6 in what was a pretty abject display against Ulster, but they're halfway to getting back on track here tonight. 15-3 in front, and a really big second half performance you feel needed from the Scarlets to avoid christening Parky Scarlets with a defeat. No semblance of sentiment from the current Magners League leaders, and the suggestion Killian Keane just briefly that Munster might even have a gear or two to find.
Yeah, they certainly were very comfortable. They played within themselves in the first half and really just capitalised on Tlethley errors more than anything else. But I suppose the challenge for Munster will be to go on and win the game and look to get a bonus point. And certainly for Tlethley to get more into the game, and they will certainly want to get the first score in the second half to give themselves a chance.
Munster halfway to that try bonus point. Ian Darling and Dennis Leamy in the last 10 minutes of the first half, providing the touchdowns. David Lyons, who had a decent first half with ball in hand, making the hard yards again. Martin's out to Reece Priestland. Warwick comfortably back inside to the right boot of Ronan O'Gara. Not finding touch. A decent kick ahead too, and again Warwick, that's the third time he's looked really assured under the high ball. Knew he was under pressure, but have Munster coughed it up? Yes, they have indeed, and it's a penalty. Two Munster players. Might have been Frankie Sheehan, the first man to go to ground. Good opportunity for Scarlets right away in the second half.
Yeah, I think the ref had ruled there that even though the Munster player did go on the ground, that he felt that the ruck had formed, and obviously you can't be off your feet at a ruck.
No, I'm happy with that,
yeah, it was a game of aerial ping pong again. In fairness, the last Tlethley kick was a good kick, and Warwick got tackled man and ball, and Munster just weren't there in enough numbers, and Tlethley had forced a mistake. But you feel that Priestland really needs to get this to give Tlethley any chance to get into this game.
A few gentle words of encouragement as well before he gets set to take it. He has played well with ball in hand, and he's kicked out of hand very well. Got to get his goal kicks right though if the Scarlets are to have any chance. Never any doubt. That's a very straightforward, confident looking kick this time from Reece Priestland, and it's the first points of the second half to the Scarlets.
You can see here Warwick got hit straight away in the tackle by Priestland, who followed up his own kick, and Tlethley are there in numbers, and we can see there the Munster player going down on the ground trying to kill off the ball, seal it off for his own side. And I think there was maybe even a second Munster player who went to the ground, and that's where the referee gave the penalty away.
Good take from the knockdown by Lyons, and that's just the encouragement that the Scarlets need in the second half. The crowd looking really for an excuse to get vocal and get behind their team. As with any new stadium, of course, it has its own unique atmosphere, and it's been a little bit flat at times tonight. Munster have been principled in maintaining that the crowd don't get into the game, and that look to do more so now in the second half. It's been a brighter start, albeit the only 3 or 4 minutes of the second half by the Scarlets. Priestland this time looks to get his back line moving. Regan King, and that's come off Dennis Leamy, has it?
Tlethley spotted some room out wide there, but again King, he just doesn't quite look as if he's as sharp as he was a couple of seasons ago. A couple of seasons ago he would glide through gaps there on the outside and put away 2-on-1s, but he just didn't look quite as fluid.
Regan King, who extended his contract with the Scarlets earlier this season through to 2011. Capped once by the All Blacks back in 2002 against Wales, actually, and scored a try, and was never capped again. Munster ball with Tomas O'Leary to Ronan O'Gara, under a little bit more pressure this time. That's gone backwards, but good work on the floor by Maffey. O'Gara's quick as well to look ahead and spot a gap as he measured this one to perfection.
That's perfection.
Referee's whistle is going to call us back though, and it really was perfection from Ronan O'Gara. Maffey up to his usual tricks in the contact area as well.
Always amazed by Maffey's energy. He just displays incredible energy right throughout the game, particularly in defence, which obviously his attack is very, very good, but in defence he's excellent.
Pause, engage.
Priestland this time spotting the gap in behind Doug Hoylett. Unlike Ronan O'Gara before him, he's measured that to perfection as well, giving Hoylett very little option. His kick's a good one though in return.
That's a very good kick by Doug Hoylett. Just again, he's like Ian Dowling in a way. Obviously he's far more famous and celebrated, but he makes very, very few mistakes as well.
Line is your middle.
Ian Dowling would be over the moon to hear you say that Doug Hoylett is very like him, I'm sure. Now Rhys Priestland looks to get the Scarlets moving. Steps off his right foot.
He's the tackler.
Got a bit of a cul-de-sac. Donnacha O'Callaghan. And that's Dominic Day, the 23-year-old. He's made a good impression.
Stay on your feet, Red.
This is the kind of position from where you expect the Scarlets just need to find a little bit of impetus and momentum, break the first tackle,
White, hands away.
Get something creative going a little bit wide. That's where they look to the likes of Regan King so often. Easterby takes it on. Now they come looking left. Good tackle from Tomas O'Leary. Crowd calling for the penalty for O'Leary on the wrong side, but it's Scarlet's ball on the Munster 10-metre line. Now it's Dennis Leamy on the wrong side, but the penalty goes to Munster for Scarlet's players off their feet at ruck time.
Yeah, that was just numbers. I think it was Dominic Day who took it up. It had been slow ball for a number of phases, and there was an inevitability about Cletley making a mistake. He's well tackled. He's tackled by Leamy, driven backwards, and you can see Tony Buckley comes in, and again, Thomas there was off his feet, so that's a clear-cut penalty. But it just stemmed from slow ball, continuous slow ball.
Just be careful, close to me.
Frankie Sheehan as well, putting his shoulder to the wheel. I thought that was the start of a yawn, but it was just puffing out. It's been patchy in times, this match, but a bright beginning by the Scarlets, but they'll need to register another score to really get their tails up. As it is, they've defended of their own to do. Mick O'Driscoll looks to present it. Horan leaves it. Tomas O'Leary. Donnacha O'Callaghan supported by O'Gara, then Maffey. Now Tomas O'Leary changes the point of attack. Takes the looping little one inside from Frankie Sheehan. On goes Horan. Ronan leaves it. Tomas O'Leary sniping. O'Gara. Maffey. Well tackled. Deacon Manu, the replacement on for Keys Muse, I think it was. Munster go deeper to O'Gara. That's a good return downfield. Quickly taken though by Warwick. Well, O'Gara looked to get Munster back into Scarlet's territory. Deft little kick this time.
A nice little banana kick with the outside of the right foot there. Another trademark kick from O'Gara back down to the corner. Just pins Cletley back further inside their own 22.
Yeah, you just get the impression that the longer Munster can continue to choose field position over possession at the correct times and get the basics right, that it's asking a lot of Scarlets to get back in it. Missing so many key players. Niall Ronan. Mick O'Driscoll wants to take it on. Vernon Cooper with a tackle. Munster rumble on another couple of yards, and there it's for O'Leary. Frankie Sheehan was met hard. O'Leary has a look to the left and says, let's go this way. Tony Buckley Looks to shovel it backwards. O'Gara looking for Hoylett. Covers well placed, and it had to be from John Davies, and he had no option really but to try and run his way out of trouble. Backed himself and showed good confidence now. White, we've seen him do this before already this season.
Scrum advantage.
Against Sale in the Heineken Cup for one.
Advantage over.
Morgan Stoddart deals with a high ball. Inside O'Driscoll to Priestland. There's numbers. If the Scarlets can get it going. Back they come.
You chose to take that angle there. You chose to take that angle. Don't look for a penalty. Just a forward pass.
Well,
I'd like to see it again.
I have to say, in real time, didn't look forward to me whatsoever. Well, it's marginal at best, I have to say. Let's see if we get a better angle this time.
It's possibly a yard forward, but
well, that wasn't a hometown decision.
no, it certainly wasn't
By any means. And it was a good opportunity for Scarlets. Regan King had men outside.
Whoa.
Priestland probably delayed his pass maybe a fraction too long. I think that's probably why the ref chose to pick it up, but the crowd aren't happy.
The first motion is forward. Riding it, please.
Well, we've not had too much to get excited about so far.
Crouch. Set. Touch. Pause. Engage.
Straight feed this time. It's been a decent scrum tonight from the Scarlets, and Simon Easterby does really, really well. Makes a nuisance of himself and then steals the ball and then presents it one-handed really well. Doug Hoylett covering back. Has to be allowed to get to his feet, and look at the pace from Hoylett. Regan King chasing shadows. It was eventually Gavin Evans who made the tackle. So good in every facet of his game, Hoylett. And again, Munster competently clearing their lines. A quick line out. Lyons tries to break the tackles. When it pops out the side, anybody's ball. It may be Tony Buckley's. Scarlets working hard to make sure it's not, and they do well. Martins. That's a low percentage ball, really. Possession given away again. Darling. Day with a tackle. He's made quite a few. Put himself about. Trying to grasp his opportunity there in the second row. Ronan O'Gara to Maffey. Dennis Leamy. Morgan Stoddart, good pace, but he doesn't get away from Donnacha Ryan.
Run, stay in your feet.
It's good play from the back rower. Now Martins, and again the crowd, you can hear them trying to urge their team to put it through the hands. They do have numbers, but it's a little bit laboured, a little bit static, and a little bit too lateral. Predictable. Maffey had lots of time to line up his man and make the tackle.
I'm happy. Off your feet now, White, let it come.
It's going to take something a little bit more instinctive and innovative from the Scarlets back line.
Must be through the gate. He's not through the gate.
Frankie Sheehan pleading his innocence, but referee was well placed and clear in his own mind. Sheehan coming from an offside position.
Yeah, that's a penalty. The ball was out, but Frank Sheehan wasn't behind the hindmost foot of the Munster side of the ruck, and he didn't come through the gate, so that's the correct decision. But Cletley looked very laboured when they had the ball out. They had a couple of 4-on-2 situations, and they've been very, very lateral, moved across the field, and made it quite easy for Munster to defend.
Set there for me.
Well, this is a good position. Owens goes toward the back, and
that's right.
Dominic Day the option, but
taking the ball.
Took it easily, but perhaps because it wasn't straight. Well, that's an opportunity wasted really from the Scarlets. Frustrating, I'm sure, for Nigel Davies and his backroom staff up there in the stand.
Keep it straight now, right? Crouch. Set. Touch. Pause. Engage.
Away comes Leamy. Easterby in close attendance. It's well played from the Dennis Leamy. Made a lot of yards.
He's not interfering.
Munster outside their 22. O'Leary under real pressure.
Come away.
Does well, and Dowling knocks it backwards. Donncha Ryan beaten to it by Marcus Horan. Munster secure the ball and do it well. And Ronan O'Gara again just pulling the strings, inviting the counter-attack, which has been less than forthcoming, it must be said, from Scarlets. And this is where Munster are dangerous, because they do have the line breakers. Tony Buckley pawing away the Scarlets defence. O'Gara now has options. One of them is Lafemi Maffey. O'Gara again will use the boot, take the aerial route. Here comes Dennis Leamy. Can he get off the ground? No, he can't. Morgan Stoddard never took his eyes off it. Scarlett's a little bit slow to the breakdown as well.
That's gone backwards.
That's gone backwards, says the referee. Keith Earls sets it up for Tomas O'Leary. Now Ronan O'Gara, was he checked? Don't think so. Referee
You'll be in the bin for that in a minute.
got that. Well, as Regan King clears.
Time out.
Well, the referee has come across to check on
the
well-being of one of the Scarlets players, but I'm not sure quite
right.
Who was he talking to just before that?
This is where Tony Buckley went on a run. He's swatting off players. He's a very, very difficult man to tackle. But I think the referee is having a conversation with Ronan O'Gara about. I think he felt that Ronan dived after the previous chip, and I think he's just explaining his reasons for not giving him the penalty. You'll probably just see it here now. Simulation,
is that what they call it?
Yeah.
In soccer terms, anyway.
That's a touch of the Ronaldo's about that. He was definitely chancing his arm.
Well, it's a good time to remind you to stay with us here on Setanta Ireland for more Magners League action coming your way. Before that, I'll tell you about Sunderland against Bolton, though. Premier League from tomorrow at 2:25 here on Setanta Ireland. And then on Monday night, we're at Anfield. Liverpool against West Ham from 7 o'clock. This time it's on Setanta Sports 1. And of course, a little bit later on, we'll be bringing you bang up to date with what's happening in tonight's big interprovincial match from an Irish perspective. Ulster against Connacht at Ravenhill.
I think at this stage, I would imagine the Munster management were probably looking to their bench. They've got a very, very strong bench with Dennis Fogarty, Federico Pucciarello. They've got Colin and O'Sullivan that can come in and put Donncha Ryan up into the second row. They've got Stringer, Barry Murphy and Anthony Horgan. So they've got 7 players who I'm sure they'd like to get onto the field. And it might be no harm just at this stage just to bring a bit of fresh impetus into Munster's play, because they have a chance here to push on, win the game and get bonus points.
Red 9 or 1?
Yeah, it's a rather
Red 9.
tiring looking Scarlet side, and devoid of one or two ideas as they start to ring the changes themselves. Mahonry Schwalger is coming in as the replacement hooker, and Gavin Cattle as well at scrum half to try and get them going. And it's going to take something. Ken Owens has taken a big knock. Let's hope he's okay, because he's missed so much game time, as I mentioned earlier on, with injury.
Okay, time on front.
Just to mention as well, be with us on Setanta Ireland this coming Monday for the World Cup draw for 2011. We're on there at 2:45. The draw expected from London at 3 o'clock. That's Donncha O'Callaghan who has it. Back to Frankie Sheehan, to Tomas O'Leary. Now Maffey. Marcus Horn's running out of pitch. Got it back inside just before he was absolutely clattered into the Magners League hoarding over on the far side.
Yeah, White took that in, yeah.
Looks like he'll be okay. It's Rhys Priestland.
Time off, please, son. You change.
That's pretty sore.
White 2 change.
Yeah, he's made of hardy stuff, Marcus
This
Horn.
whole life you have a change. White hook is changing.
He might not be too happy about it. He's okay to continue.
I think Munster, we can see Dennis Fogarty coming on here for Frank Sheehan. I think Munster need to do this because, having said it, for all their dominance, they're only 9 points ahead, and if Clancy did get a breakaway score,
come in and set.
The game could look very different. So I think Munster do need to push on from here.
Well, perhaps the best night in terms of line-out delivery from Frankie Sheehan. Let's see if Fogarty can make a difference. Priestland fires one downfield. Roig with plenty of time to have a look and try and position his kick. Good chase from Howlett.
7, you're within 10 metres.
Niall Ronan infringing on the chance for the Scarlets to get moving again. Easterby, who's been central to most of what's been good about the Scarlets' performance so far, just perhaps hasn't been enough of it from the home side. Cattle takes it for the second time up to the 10-metre line.
Don't slow it, White. White hand.
Easterby. Well, you heard the referee. This time it's not rolling away. Well, this is kickable.
Don't disagree with me now. But look at it.
That's actually okay. I think the ref missed that. You're allowed to step over the ruck. You're not allowed to use your hand. But I think Tony Buckley was a bit unfortunate there. But again, it's frustrating to watch Munster not really, sort of, as I said, take the game more to Llanelli. This does happen if you sit back. You do get decisions that go against you. If Llanelli kick this, they're within 6 points and they'll feel that they're right back in the game.
Yeah, it's an important one for Rhys Priestland.
Yeah, good. He's good. Settle.
2 out of 3 so far. Considerably more distance required this time than the last one. Struck it well. Has he pushed it? Yes, he has. So the chance to reduce the margin passed up by Rhys Priestland. Both these teams, of course, with European Cup matches to come. Munster home and away to Claremont. Tony McGann, we understand, gave them an absolute roasting after the performance up at Ulster last month, which brought to an end their 7-match unbeaten sequence. So he won't thank his players if they do have one eye on matches against Claremont coming up.
Back feet 16.
Cattle to Priestland. David Lyons offers himself and was well put to ground. Cattle again, they go on the short side. John Davies. It's relatively comfortable defence from Munster. It's going to take something a little bit special, a little flash of individual brilliance, and maybe Regan King is the man to provide it. Loose ball. Munster thought they'd turned it over. Needed to be quick hands. It was Deacon Manu, I think. Yes, it was indeed, who got it back on the Scarlet side. Dennis Leamy on the floor. Can't play it. Scarlets just assessing their options. Munster competing at the breakdown. Schwalger.
Ruck.
Now Priestland. Morgan Stoddard out to Davies. Now he's met by Doug Howlett. And it's all a little bit predictable from the home team.
Just got one glimpse of what Regan King can do there. He sort of half ghosted through a tackle. They need more of that.
Good with kicking in reply. O'Gara didn't have the option of the quick one.
Just a second, we got to change. White. One. White one, change.
Change in the front row.
Change, please.
For the Scarlets, Heston Thomas. That's actually on the Munster side. It's Marcus Horan who's going off.
I want the ball in quicker, hooker, please.
But Dennis Fogarty just delaying a fraction. The referee's not happy. Gives a free kick to the Scarlets.
Free kick.
There's Heston Thomas. So it was Marcus Horan who you saw going off. Pucciarello, as confirmed, is on in his place.
You're latching as well. If you latch, it's not an issue, okay? If he dives, I'll penalise.
Again, there was a lot of complexity in the Munster line out there. There was a number of dummy jumpers. And you just wonder whether it's necessary.
Stand this now, right? Set them early. Crouch. Touch. Pause.
It's usually such a straightforward and reliable thing. It hasn't really been all season. It is an ongoing problem.
I think the referee there penalised Munster for not putting the ball in quickly, which he's more inclined to penalise a new young hooker than he might somebody like Jerry Flannery.
Stay tight,
he might just give him the stare.
Cattle. Good run from deep from John Davies. Cut a good line, but was well met on the tackle. Donnacha O'Callaghan as well.
Watch your feet.
He's had a bit of treatment from the studs tonight, Donnacha O'Callaghan. Putting in his usual amount of hard work and tackles.
The back of White.
In goes Pucciarello and now Buckley. Can they find the offload that might set them going? It's gone forward as Buckley was going to ground, and if the Scarlets can move it quickly, it might just open up Regan King again.
Just nobody sort of coming close to his shoulder there when he gets through.
Just half a shard of daylight for King, but no support, and it's turnover ball. Warwick had to field a high pass and his kick was a little bit aimless. Scarlets come again into Munster territory up to the 10-metre line, and then it's loose ball.
Lost forward, Red.
Yeah, it's gone forward.
Do me a favour now, quiet please.
It's just happening too much from the home team.
It's a tackle.
Yeah, it's a little bit better from Clonettley. I think Cattle at scrum half has injected a little bit of energy. He's tried to speed the ball up at least. But again, you feel Munster are sort of comfortable in defence. That can be a risky strategy.
A couple of scores ahead, but as we mentioned, or as was mentioned in the studio at half-time and in the second half as well, Munster would look to kick on now and try and get this bonus point. It's a nasty-looking gash from Simon Easterby. Suggestion of an element of foul play at scrum time, but the replays lacking any real clarity. It is a fabulous new stadium. That's the east stand away to the right, and the north stand directly opposite us. Peter Stringer is on for Munster and straight away is involved. Now it might just fall for the Scarlets. Rhys Priestland, he's got a good turn of pace. A little bit of afters. Simon Easterby.
Come away. It's only two of them. There's only two of them. Four. Let him go.
Referee just telling Donnacha O'Callaghan to leave Simon Easterby and Ian Dowling to it. Nothing in that. Warwick's kick it was by Rhys Priestland, and Stringer was alive to the danger. Let's see what develops.
I think actually Simon Easterby fell over, and Ian Dowling actually felt that he actually came on top of him, but it was actually a complete accident, which is unfortunate because Easterby is not that type of player. He's a very, very fair player.
Tonight, okay, lads, let's not spoil it on a sour note though, okay? Stand this for both of you, okay? Let's stick to rugby, thanks. Just hold a second, we got an injury here. Just wipe the nose.
Which just shows the dangerous game that Munster are playing. You know, one block down of a kick, Priestland could have got in only for a very good covering tackle from Peter Stringer. You know, that can happen when you have a relatively slender lead.
What's that red on the line, okay? And use your mark.
Well, Stringer's been given plenty of time to stake his claim for a place in the upcoming matches in the European Cup as well. He was huge in every aspect of his game against the All Blacks at Thomond Park.
Come across. Thank you.
Munster really have a huge strength and depth and competition for places. Now here come the Scarlets through Gavin Evans.
Hey, you're not the tackler.
Dennis Leamy.
Slowing it down.
Well, I was going to say he's lucky to get away, but he's not lucky to get away. It's advantage to the Scarlets. Cattle, possibility of a drop goal from Priestland. Still with the advantage off the upright and wide, but back we come.
He has to kick it now.
Got through the gate.
Seeing as he took the drop goal, he would have been praying that it went over.
It was a good strike too, just the width of a post. But
I'm going to say the same as they did in the first half. They haven't been up here much, but when they are, we're slowing things down. Next person is going to come to the touchline and is not coming back, okay?
How we start on?
Please. Coming through the gate, not rolling away from the tackle. Let's have a think how someone else is going to go, okay? It's not your responsibility.
that's fair enough, I think, from the referee.
Yeah, I mean, that's a stonewall penalty.
And Rhys Priestland will expect. His last kick was a very good one. Decent try with the drop goal, and he'll expect to get this. Bring the Scarlets back to within a converted try of the lead.
Time check one.
As I said, he would have preferred if the drop goal went over. Trust me from experience.
13, Simon.
Everyone expects you to get this kick. It's not necessarily a gimme.
Over it goes though, and it's 3 out of 4 for Rhys Priestland and the Scarlets, and it's 15 points to 9 now. And it's by no means job done for the leaders, Munster.
That's game on now, and Llanelli feel that they've got every chance with 12, 13 minutes left in the clock, and really, you know, they're now the coming side. Munster have got to try and pull away again.
Well, Munster finished the first half with a flurry. That try from Dennis Leamy converted by Ronan O'Gara, but they haven't scored since.
Okay.
2 penalties for Priestland, and it's very much back on. It's a bit of a laboured chase downfield. Warwick has loads of time, doesn't find touch. One who's set to profit from the latest bout of aerial ping pong. Ian Darling tries to ensure that it's Munster. Slower ball for Stringer to O'Gara. Not too many options out wide. Warwick was well covered, so he had to look for Leamy. And it's going to be advantage Scarlets. Maffey's covering. No Scarlet coming. No advantage coming rather to the Scarlets. So back we go. And Munster would want to just, from their own point of view, wake up a little bit. They've kind of gone back and playing within themselves and gone to sleep a little bit.
It's very hard to do that. You can't just switch it on and off. And you know, the momentum is now at Llanelli. The crowd are now behind them. And really, I suppose, you know, the big problem with Munster has been the failure of their line-out. And certainly you would expect Llanelli to play possession, play territory, and actually put the ball out and force Munster to throw in close to their own line, because they have turned over the Munster line-out on numerous occasions. Could you see it?
It could be a nasty one for Gavin Evans.
Or if it's his hamstring or maybe something to do with his knee.
Hopefully nothing more serious like ligament damage. Seemed to kind of twist and go down heavily on it. And Dennis Leamy equally might have a knee problem, which is not good news for Munster. More changes while all that was taking place for the Scarlets. Phil John is on, as is Jonathan Edwards. And it goes from the replacement scrum half, Gavin Cattle. Lost forward again, this time it's John Davies in off his wing. Well, referee says no, he's happy to continue. I thought it went forward.
Touch should have picked that up.
Swalger takes it on. Scarlets look to take advantage. Dominic Day, the second row. Now Regan King. That's Phil John, the replacement prop. Cattle trying to organise and orchestrate. 10 minutes to go, and Scarlets doing their very best to try and get an opening win in the Magners League at the new stadium, which, to be frank, looked very, very unlikely for a long time.
Right.
John O'Sullivan is in for Munster as well.
Don't put him in.
Kick just too much on it. That's actually James Collin is in for Munster, but Munster rather let off the hook that time.
Another crucial line out here for Munster. They really want to win this and just play the ball down in Llanelli's territory. But that's been their Achilles heel for the whole evening. They haven't been able to get quality ball from line out, and that's really led to the problems. And in fact, if you look at the tries that they really got them off Llanelli errors.
Lots to think about really for both coaches. Well, stay with us here on Setanta Ireland for more Magners League action. Coming up next, it's highlights from that match I spoke about a few moments ago. Ulster against Connacht from Ravenhill. And then tomorrow evening, do join us for a match at the RDS from 5:25 on Setanta Ireland. Leinster up against the Dragons. A rematch of that match last season that saw Leinster crowned champions. There was plenty of tries that day. There may be tomorrow as well.
Let's go.
Meantime, Dennis Fogarty trying to find Mick O'Driscoll, and he does. Stringer to O'Gara. Munster try and get something going from deep with Lafemi Maffei up to the 10-metre line.
20 is on his feet.
Well, this is the danger from running from deep. Players holding on or off their feet. There's been a high penalty account against the teams in possession
7 minutes.
in positions like this.
It's one of the problems when Tupoki is injured. You don't have a hugely physical presence in midfield. You have O'Gara, Maffei and Keith Earls. None of them are really in the Trevor Halstead mould where you can just give him the ball. It's going to come back. He'll take a couple of players with him. And on that occasion, you could see what they were trying to do. They were trying to set a platform in the middle of the field to give the ball back to O'Gara, who then had both sides of the field to kick to. But unfortunately, it broke down because he just didn't have that physical presence in midfield.
So another big moment for this young fly half, Reece Priestland. Strikes it well. It's just edging over to the left-hand side. It was very, very close. It was a good strike. Just a little bit too much hook on it. And well, that really would have put the Scarlets back within striking distance. And you heard him ask the referee just before he made up his mind, along with his captain, how long was left. Thought about going for touch, decided that he might get enough opportunities from placed balls. Another penalty coming the Scarlets' way, this time for a high tackle as Regan King tries to break the line. Cattle from close in, and referee happy that the home side still have the advantage. What will be the decision this time? It's even a little bit further out. Confirmation that it is, of course, James Collin, who's come in for Dennis Leamy.
It's a pretty difficult kick. Looks as if he is going to go again.
Well, if at first you don't succeed,
no, he's not.
Change your mind and go for a line out instead. It did look as though they were going for the post, but it was probably just beyond his comfort range. There's the high tackle from O'Driscoll.
That's pretty soft.
So what can the Scarlets do? Converted try to put them 1 point in front. It's well contested by Munster, but crucially, it's Scarlets' ball. And now they have it. And now they have options. That's Mick O'Driscoll on the wrong side, and here comes the penalty. If no advantage comes, and well, I thought the referee might take further action. Yeah, he's going for the pocket. You heard him say to Ronan O'Gara a few moments ago.
Not rolling away, okay? His saving grace is number 4, stop the quick tap. Number 4 is going into the bin for a professional foul. Number 4, you're not 10 metres.
Okay, so it's not Mick O'Driscoll for being on the wrong side, it's Donnacha O'Callaghan. It may well have been O'Driscoll.
It's cynical play. 10 minutes, please.
Had the offence not been greater, perhaps, from Donnacha O'Callaghan. There's a real chance now for the Scarlets with a numerical advantage and a penalty. Will they go for the penalty, or will they
6 minutes
try and use the extra man? Yeah, they're going for the scrum.
Well, yeah, it's good positive play. Munster are down a man, and you force them to make a decision in defence. Do they? You know, they'll probably just keep the scrum down to 7 players, but you're going to force Munster's hand straight away rather than taking the kick. You still got to come back up and score anyway, even if you get it. The momentum is with Plenty.
Now they look to go wide, and then they look back inside. Taken on by John Davies.
Stay in field, Elwyn, and talk to me.
Cattle in close. Mahonry Schwalger is forced back. Good defence initially by Munster. The first attack is repelled, but there will be more. Here they come. Vernon Cooper, in come the numbers. Scarlets need quicker ball. Mick O'Driscoll.
Keep rolling, top legs.
5 minutes to go, less than 5 minutes at Parky Scarlets. Has that gone backwards? Yes, it has. But then Gavin Cattle's under pressure. Can Scarlets get it back on their side? They can't, but they're judged to be going forward. And crucially, they get the put in.
Yeah, marginal decision, but I think that Letley player Cattle had managed to get on the ground, which, you know, it wasn't a maul, it was a ruck. They're slightly fortunate to get it, but I think the referee is just he might just be a little bit fed up with Munster at this stage. You get that impression from the tone of some of his conversations. Again, that was the original penalty, and we can see that the yellow card came from. Yeah, it's hard to argue against that. You know, it's very close to the line. You're preventing quick play. It's a yellow card.
Yeah, but for the intervention of Donnacha O'Callaghan, Scarlets would have been a couple of metres short and no more from that Munster line. Well, it's a big scalp for the Scarlets to take if they can somehow find a converted try in the last 3 or 4 minutes here. Munster top of the Magners League, beaten only once all season. The European champions.
It'll be interesting to see, will they stay tight here? Will they play the ball to somebody like Regan King, see get into some space? It looks like it's going to be tight.
Really good scrum from the Scarlets. And the referee left with no option but to award the penalty try. It's a big call from the referee, but it was a really good scrum from the Scarlets, and well, it's a penalty try, so it's going to be a conversion attempt in front of the posts. 3.5 minutes to go, and the Scarlets, a great opportunity.
Yeah, he penalised the Munster front row for standing up. You don't always see them given straight away, but clearly Letley were going forward. In the end, you can see Dennis Fogarty stood up, and the referee, he made an instantaneous decision. But I do feel that this is the culmination of Munster transgressing, you know, for the last, you know, for most of the second half, and I think that the referee has just lost his patience with them.
Conversion added then by Rhys Priestland, the easiest of tasks, but he held his nerve. Scarlets 16, Munster 15, and would you believe it, from 15-3 down at half time. That's a picture of the old scoreboard taken over here from Stratty Park, and well, old traditions die hard, and what you get from Clonethley or the Scarlets is plenty of courage, and they've battled back from what looked like a certain defeat at half time, and suddenly, with time running out for Munster, they're in front. But how long will that lead last?
And Nigel Davis will be fuming.
Twice he had a goal. Once they told him to stop.
It was Vernon Cooper who should know better at this stage of his career. He's been around for a long time, and the one man you don't want to give a shot with 2 minutes to go to win the game is this man here.
At the restart, so you're about 3.5.
And we see it so many times. Teams spend 30-40 minutes to claw their way back in. The adrenaline is pumping, and needlessly giving away a penalty.
There's no sound of silence here.
Ronan O'Gara, despite the jeers and the hostility from the Scarlets supporters, dissects the uprights, and Munster are back in front. Well, they can hardly believe it. Munster perhaps scarcely deserve it, but they're doing what European champions do. We saw it against Montauban at Thomond Park as well. Have they managed yet again to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat? Scarlets have it though. In the last 5 minutes or so, this match is really coming to life. It's been a slow, laborious game in many respects, but it's finishing positively from both teams, particularly the team in possession, the Scarlets.
Clonethley just need to work this into infield, in closer to the post, and they'll have one shot at a drop goal if they keep their patience.
Still with the extra man, of course. No Donnacha O'Callaghan for Munster. They need to keep their composure. No angle for the drop goal, so Rhys Priestland decides to go himself, and almost opening up. John Davies now takes it on the crowd.
This is where they need to do it. They need to just relax here, move it back right into the pocket and take the drop goal.
Could be the last phase of play. Not looking for the drop goal option just yet. Going for the try, still 5-6 metres short.
I think they might be positioning for it now.
Coming back across in front of the posts, Vernon Cooper. A single mistake or misplaced pass or a knock on would bring it all to an end. David Lyons. First left, then right. Still no one in the pocket. Over the 80 minutes.
Keep coming in.
Now perhaps beginning to set up. On they go, good continuity.
They have to take a drop goal. It just doesn't seem to have, oh, here we go. You can see, I think it might be Stoddart who's lined up behind.
Gavin Cattle took a long time to go back. Munster defence is up very quickly. Charged down, it was Kieran Thomas, the replacement fly half. Is that going to be it? It's gone forward off a Scarlet's hand. It was a courageous finish from the home team, but ultimately, well, they've thrown it away in many respects, handing that late penalty to Ronan O'Gara, having come from so far behind, 15-3 down at half-time, to edge in front by 16 points to 15. And then, well, they had so much possession at the end, they just couldn't set up the drop goal. And the Parky Scarlets is christened by an unwelcome defeat for the home team. Munster will be top of the league tonight on that final scoreline. Scarlets 16, Munster 18.
Yeah, deafening silence, and Ronan O'Gara, sluggish performance, missed a few dollies, and then he nails the nervy one. Munster out of jail.